Hello, everybody. We're here today with Portugal and our weekly call with international real estate. You'll see some QR codes throughout the presentation, so feel free to scan them and go to find out more information about people in the group, as well as some locations and some material that we'll be sharing. Today's guest is Leesa Booyzen. Always tell you Booyzen. Portugal team leader. You can find her in Instagram under this handle. And also, Um, I want to just give a little background of what the call is about, who is this for, and if you're in the right place. Before we start the call, please introduce yourselves in the chat for Zoom. If you're watching the recording, you can introduce yourself in the comments. Mostly, we want to, get to know you, where you're from, what's your name, what's your current market, because we work with a lot of expat agents that are somewhere else. So it's always nice to know where you're from, what countries or markets do you cover, and also your goals and expectations for this call. The whole purpose of this call is networking, knowledge sharing from different countries, exchange, what the market is like, who is it for, what's the new trend, what are the cities that are, trending. But also to just do a community building so we can get to know each other and we can work with each other with co-sponsoring as well. So this is super important for us to keep in mind, because now with co-sponsoring, it's easier than ever to have an agent and being able to support them in more than one market. Also, if you have any announcements, listings, or things you want to share, we're going to do it at the end as well. So please send them to us so we can update the slides. Don't post them in the chats because it gets too crowded. But if you have any updates or announcements, we're happy to share that too. And this, of course, who's it for? Any real estate agent or investor that wants to learn more. You don't necessarily have to be from our company, EXP. You can join from a different company and just, poke your head, show some interest. And that way you can learn more about international if you cannot do it in your current agency, especially. This is my QR code. You can scan me. This is my phone number as well, so you can text me. You can find us in YouTube under Unicorn Properties, and or Instagram under my name, nathalysalas _. And that way you'll see all the week, every single week, all the updates of what's coming and what are we showcasing next week. For that, we had already covered these past few days. 3 weeks, 6 weeks since we started at the call again. So we've covered Dubai, we've covered India, and we covered Ecuador. Today we're doing Portugal, and next week we'll be doing Abu Dhabi and Oman. So stay tuned on what the calendar is like, and we'll have more updates after EXPCon, that we'll have a more set schedule of 2 countries per month, so you can get more familiar with that. If you're not in the community school yet, you can scan this QR code, register, and you will be able to have access to the community and also to the calendar. In school, you can go click, save it to your calendar, and it's going to save every week, or it's going to save per session. So this is super helpful. It's a free community, so feel free, might as well, to join and get all the notes there. If you're more of a WhatsApp person, this is our International Real Estate Weekly Calls WhatsApp. You can scan the QR code, join the group, and also participate that way. And with that, I'm going to introduce to our speaker today, Leesa. Leesa is the founder and team leader of Kaya Team in Portugal. She leads the Kaya team with about 20 top agents across Portugal. I know she does her research on which agents join her team, and she's very mindful on having professional agents that really have either experience or they know the market very well. She herself has 20 plus years of global experience in business and real estate, specializes in investments, relocations, and high net worth individuals and clients. Started in the film industry in South Africa at age 22. Many people don't know she's from South Africa, but she is. I want to chat a little bit more about that at the end. She's known for strategic marketing insights and personalized service, and built one of the Portugal's most trusted networks for investors. And with that, I'm gonna pass it to Leesa so she can share her screen.
I need to keep you around, Nathaly. You make me sound important. So hi, everyone. Yeah, Leesa Booyzen from South Africa. Moved to the UK, moved to Ireland, got sick of the weather, and moved to Portugal. So with moving around a lot came, how do I help my clients? So we do the full relocation package to Portugal because it's obviously a lot more than just buying a house. So with that, we've discovered tailor-made solutions for all our clients because our clients wear a lot of different hats. Are they investors? Is it their first time home? We also work in the luxury side of Portugal. A lot of people don't know Portugal is a long, narrow country. So we get the question a lot where people go, we want to be near water. So 3/4 of Portugal is coastal. And in between is a lot of river beaches. So that's why we always say you need to be a little bit more specific. Climate comes up a lot. People go, oh, but we don't want to be near the rainy side. This is literally the coldest part in winter. It's very moderate throughout the year. There's not much changes throughout the year. So when clients come in and they go, we want to be somewhere that has seasons, especially if they're from the UK or from Ireland or in the cold, rainy parts of the US, or if they're from Canada, the first question is, how much does it snow? It snows by the mountains. That's about it. There is a small little ski resort there, but not much more. This is just the climates in more detail. This is sort of Portugal and north, the Douro Valley, sort of Porto as a city. So we kind of cover the whole country. Central Portugal. Then we've got more Alentejo, sort of Algarve. Alentejo gets very hot. And then we've got the Algarve, the bottom with the Mediterranean Sea. So the updates, why do people move to these areas? You can see kind of the dark red are where all the foreigners kind of move to because there's more infrastructure, there's more work, depends what clients are looking for when they come in. We help them with all the different areas. Basically, the biggest need if they come in and go, we don't want to drive, we're like, Porto and Lisbon are your options now. Everything else, there is public transport, but very limited. So these are kind of where all the clients are moving to in areas, but this is what we advise. Investors that want to come in or clients that want to buy. Why do people come to Portugal? It is the 21st best healthcare in the world. It is also ranked the 7th most peaceful country in the world. And in 2025, it was number 2 for top retirement destination in the world. So where do these figures come from? It all depends on the housing, the ease of buying, the visa process, cost of living, the affinity, healthcare, and development. So central Portugal's got very popular for the cost of living and the healthcare system. This is kind of a general layout of costing between Portugal and the US to give clients, because we had to pick a currency. So the US, this has changed this week. So please don't hold me to it as the dollar keeps changing. But on average, a family of 4 in Portugal can live very comfortably for 3,400 euro a month, whereas it's about $6,000 for the same family in the US, to just give comparisons. This is something that'll be on the slide so people can pause and look in more detail if you want. But one thing I do want to point out is the healthcare in Portugal. The first time I went to my doctor, I was charged €4.50. You know, when you kind of go, what is that for? That is $5.22 at the exchange rate that I did this at. It might be different now. When I went, I got all the tests under the sun. They do the scans, they follow up, they do everything. I also had the privilege of being taken to hospital in an ambulance. They didn't charge me. I haven't had a bill yet. So from the healthcare side, people that worry that are sort of getting a bit older, it's phenomenal. I had clients here 2 weeks ago from the US. They did not have residency. They have not finished their process at all. They were literally looking for properties. She got quite ill. I phoned an ambulance. She got rushed to hospital. Of course, the guy's like, please don't call an ambulance. She got taken to hospital. She has not been issued a bill at all. And she was in hospital for 4 days. So the healthcare really is government subsidized and very good here. Now, the visa process in Portugal. There are many, many visas. I'm just going to talk about the ones that our clients use a lot. Please note, This is as of March 2025. I know last week we had some changes to the family reunification, which I'll talk about on the next slide. But if you're watching this, they might have changed. So please contact us. We'll put you in touch with a proper relocation specialist that will tell you the updates, because it changes. So don't go by what it says on the internet. The most common that we deal with is the D7, which is the passive income visa or the retirement visa. If our clients have passive income, if they have a rental or they have a business or they have equity coming in, as long as they can prove it's regular equity coming in that is not related to a set salary, that is passive income. So it could be your pension, it could be a rental property, it could be an investment that pays out a dividend. So the first person, if you get 820 euro per month, again, check the date. This might have been updated. But you have to spend a minimum of 183 days, which is 6 months in the country. So if you're not ready to move and you don't want to be in Portugal for 6 months, this is not consecutive. You can come in for a month, you can come in 3 months, you can come in a week. They're not going to count all the days to see exactly how long you came in. But you can purchase, you can rent on the D7. You don't have to have an investment in Portugal. The other option is the D2 visa if you want to start a business. This is quite costly. There's a lot of taxes involved. So this, I would put you in touch with our accountant to first double check your taxation, where you're from, where you're going to move everything to. We do work with a whole team of people, so we will advise you the correct way. The D8 is a digital nomad visa. So this is the visa if you can prove you have a contract and you're working online with a minimum income of 3,280 euro per month, which is 4 times Portugal's minimum salary. But if you have this as a contract, you basically qualify for the D8 visa and you're welcome to come in and move around. It gives you an access to the whole of Europe. The family reunification visa is someone that comes in under someone else's D7. We've just had a change last week where if you were together for a year, you qualified under the D6. Now you have to be together a minimum 18 months for the family reunification. So that means, the spouses or the common law wives coming in, because they had people kind of fudging this a little bit to show they qualified. So the D6, now you have to be together for 18 months to qualify for the D6 under the D7. But again, when you're watching this, there might be changes. So we'll put you in touch with someone that knows. The golden visa has moved away from housing. The golden visa, now we can do it with venture capital funds. We do have a specialist on our team that works with this. You can invest in science and technology or the arts, but it has nothing to do with property. If you have clients that want to have access to the Portuguese passport, we can put you in touch with any of these funds and they qualify for the golden visa. The first year you have to be in Portugal minimum 7 days. The maximum you have to be in Portugal during the process of the golden visa per year is 21 days. So it is very good for people that have businesses, just want a European passport. One of our venture capital funds pays out minimum of 8% return on your investment, and it has a buyback. So after you get your golden visa, you get your money back. So we do have a lot of funds that people can invest in. So again, as of today, just double check with us. It might have changed. What do we do as Kaya team? We help our buyers through the whole process. So we find the home, we do the viewings, written offers, final steps. So this, again, we can go through in a lot more detail. We have mortgage specialists on our team. We work with buyers' lawyers. We work with fund specialists. We work with currency exchange experts. The process in Portugal, once you put an offer in, we go to what we call a CPCV or promissory contract. Very important to know, we don't have escrow in Portugal. The 10% deposit goes straight to the seller. It's quite a lot to get our buyers' heads around. It is all legal. It's with lawyers, everybody's involved. If the sellers renege on the contract, they have to pay you back double. So if they decide they're not going to sell anymore, they pay double. If you pull out of the contract, you lose your 10% deposit. So you need to have all your ducks in a row before we get there. We help you get to that process. Now, currency exchange, very important. We work with a specialist who can lock in the currency for our clients, whether it be the dollar, whether it be pounds, whatever. She works with all the different currencies. They can lock it in the price that they have at that time. So you know you're buying the property for that price before you get to the deed, so that you're not working out, is it good now, is it not? It's a bit of a gamble. So she works with you through the entire process. The quickest we've got a transfer done from other countries, I think, was 6 hours. But obviously give us a heads up. We can sort it out for you, because you can go straight to deed and buy a property within 10 days if you want to. So that's also negotiated. You can buy properties, over 6 months, over a year, or within 10 days. We also have a mortgage specialist on the team. So the mortgages as of last week, I think, are 3.7%. Again, we can double check this when you're ready to buy. Very important to note, the maximum age is 75. So they will only calculate it to the age of 75. And if it's a married couple, they take it by the oldest person in the marriage. So we have had a wife go, so if I divorce my husband, do I get 15 years extra because he was older? And the bottom line is yes. But they always take it as a couple. So beware of that. We can get mortgages up to 80% for our clients, work on 50% as the worst case scenario, and then we can, at least it gives you equity and figuring out where we go from there. But this is something we can help with our clients as well. Here's an average of a 2-bedroom apartment, just to show you prices across the board. Now, again, whenever you're watching this, the prices may have changed. So we do these evaluations as you come in. It gives you an area of where we're looking, just so you can see the area of Porto, 2-bedroom apartment, average. Now, in Porto, you can move one street and it can double. The same as Lisbon. If you move to Cascais or include Cascais, properties can go up to like 4 million. So it depends where you are, depends what you're looking for. We can still find those gems in areas. I mean, it says 878 is an average here. We just got a property for one of our clients for 175 as an investor. So you can see here how it suddenly jumped when we add Cascais from Lisbon, when we separate the two. We do work with a lot of off-market properties for our investors. This is an idea of what we have off-book. So that means we can also help you find those luxury properties, those investors. We have a 52 million 16th century winery, which is stunning. So a lot of the properties we have might not be online. So this also is a conversation on how can we find you what you're looking for. And this is an idea of rentals. Now, rentals are very complicated in Portugal, which is why if you have an investor, please bring them in, let's invest, and we can rent it out for them. Because it's not as easy to find properties, especially short term, because they're normally minimum 1 year, and it's more complicated for foreigners, but we can help you down that line. Purchase taxes. Now, this is an idea because clients often come in and go, what do we need besides the deposit and the purchase price? This is being negotiated at the moment. So we're waiting for changes to come into play. We don't know what the IMT taxes and stamp duty is going to change to. But here is an idea of what it would cost if you bought a house for 270, your IMT, your purchase tax, and your stamp duty is a total of 11,000. For 450, 26,000. So these are the additional add-ons when you're buying cash buyers. When you're buying through a mortgage, you've got the mortgage add-ons as well. So your extra expenses would be a notary to pay the notary and a buyer's lawyer, which we can advise you on as well. So all the questions we get, can we foreigners buy in Portugal? Yes. Are there restrictions? No. Are there tax benefits? The NHR ended in October 2023, which gave 10 years tax-free. There are variations of the NHR around for different countries. Again, we will put you in touch with a tax lawyer to advise you on how you can not be double taxed. And that's us. Scan the QR, connect, and let's see how we can help you. I will stop sharing my screen now so I can see people.
Thank you. And also I want to mention that we hosted a tour in Portugal this year, and Leesa was our host. I want to share it in the chat, maybe here too, so you guys can see, Leesa has a great team. And I also want to share it in WhatsApp so you guys have it. And I think it's super important to mention that, you guys are an amazing tight team. So if you have any questions throughout the whole country of Portugal, I think Leesa knows the country very well. She's been, I think you drove the whole thing back and forth 20 times.
Exactly. And every stop off we did with agents through the tour, we met someone else from our team that just joined us for lunch or something, because we actually enjoy hanging out together, which I didn't realize was also quite rare in a team that spans the whole country.
It is big but small at the same time, I feel. So,
but it's so diverse in between. It's like, so a lot of clients come and they go, oh, but what happens if I move to the wrong area? I live in central Portugal. Algarve's 4.5 hours away. I go to Algarve for a weekend. And I want to clarify, I go in October, November, when all the holiday makers have left.
yeah. What is the best Portugal if you want to, for anybody who's planning a trip, let's say?
If someone's planning a trip, this is where the complication is, because if you put Albie in the room, it's Porto. If you put Vanessa in the room, it's the Algarve. So when you put all my agents together, they all debate which part of the country is beautiful. But that's the thing. It's like, I would suggest, if you wanted to come, do 10 days and actually get to see Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a nice trip. You can stay in different areas, because each has its own beauty to offer. Like Porto to me is like a very creative city that is the quaint part of Lisbon, where it's still pretty, still interactive, but a big enough vibe to have fun. Lisbon's a big city. Not everyone's as interactive as you can be. But then just across from Lisbon, you got Costa de Caparica, which is like being in California. You've got like sandy beaches. You've got a wooden walkway. You've got cafes on the beach. Then you've got Sesimbra, Setúbal, that's also overlooked. But then you've got the Douro Valley up from Porto, where people haven't seen the wine region. So it's kind of like, if you want a little bit of everything, what do you want? I will happily plan a trip for you. I will send you to all the top places, because it's kind of like, it's those little gems where people go, oh, but I've been to Albufeira in Algarve. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's the most touristy spot in the whole country. Let me send you somewhere else. Like go to Sagres, which is still remote and wild on the coast, or, in between sort of Peniche and Nazaré, where the big waves are. And that's each little area, like we saw in that long bit. I mean, we drove 7 days.
Yeah.
Not one area was the same. And people were like, where are we?
Yeah, I think it has its own geographical benefit and style too on the weather, because it can be, really breezy by the coast, or really hot, or just really chill by the mountains.
Like we left a river beach once in central Portugal. There's lots of rivers everywhere, and they call them river beaches because they've actually got sand, you chill. So I was in one in central Portugal near Penacova, and we decided we're going to go to the beach. It was 32 degrees, Penacova. We got to the coast, it was 22, cold and windy. I'm like, why did we leave the fun kayaking part where we were? So are those questions in the chat?
I want to open up to any questions you might have. I can stop the recording, or we can keep going with the questions. This is train transportation. Tell us about how that works. Oh, train.
Trains. So, okay, I live in central Portugal, which is near Coimbra, so in between Lisbon and Porto. I drive to Coimbra train station, leave my car, parking for free, jump on a train. I either go to Lisbon or Porto, wherever I want to fly out from. But within central Portugal, in Coimbra, we have Ubers. I'm 20 minutes outside of the city. So I'm in like the dead end of the countryside. Nothing exists. There is no public transport. There's that one bus that leaves in the morning and comes back at night. So that's why when we have clients that go, I don't want to get a car or I want to rely on public transport, Metro is in Porto and Lisbon. So you have the trains, you have the Metro. Outside of that, you have the buses and public transport. But the main train goes between all the cities. So you do have the smaller cities that connect to the main line and going down. So from that side, you can get across the country quite quickly. Like the buses, if I catch a bus from my place to Lisbon, for example, it costs me €8, the Flix bus, much cheaper than driving.
Wow.
So then I go to Lisbon, I then fly out of Lisbon and I leave my car parked for free at the bus station. So it's awesome.
Oh, wow.
And it's so safe. Okay, I have to tell you how safe Portugal is. As a single woman from South Africa, so don't ever catch the 6 a.m. train. I was running late, as you do, jumped out of my car, ran for the train as I saw it, get onto the train, and I'm like, where is my wallet? Couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, okay, I Revolut money to everyone, come back, 2 weeks, my car's sitting open. So it's an open, free car park. There's my wallet on the front seat of the car 2 weeks later, still sitting there. And I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't cancel all my cards. I knew it was somewhere. In South Africa, the whole car would be gone.
Okay.
The biggest joke in South Africa is like, don't worry, insurance will replace your car within 6 months because it will be stolen.
Interesting. Yeah, it's awesome. And I think being there too, it has a different feeling. We've been yeah, Kathy was there with us, right? For the
Hi, Kathy.
Gala night. But yeah, any questions specifically? I can
Michael has a question.
Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
I think when, like, I just sent a referral to Leesa yesterday from the States, and they were sending her clips of pictures of apartments that they'd looked at. And Lisa's like, wait, what do you want? Let's get on a Zoom. Let's have a talk, because it is so diverse. And I think that that is probably the most important piece of it all, is that you got to get to know the client. They're used to, in the States, let's just pull it up on the MLS, let's just find the property and let's just go buy it. And that is their style, just so you know. So we let them know. I gave them a little bit more insight, back off, listen to her, figure out what it is you want. Because I also knew that she couldn't do stairs very well. She didn't even want stairs in her house, but she was looking at a place near Lisbon. I'm like, oh.
The older properties in Lisbon, it stairs like this. They're steep as well. No lifts. Some of the older buildings have lifts, but then it's like the old building. So I just wanted to figure out, like I had a client send me their dream property. And then I went, this is stunning, but what are your must-haves? Like, what's your everyday community? And she went, oh, I want to walk out to cafes and I want to be near to shops. And I went, okay, so the property you've just sent me, the closest shop is an hour drive. And she went, oh, okay. I'm like, let's figure out your must-haves first. Then we'll figure out your property, what your community is, and then we can start searching in those areas. And they were like, oh, wow, that's a much better idea. Because the property often is not where they want to be living.
True. Especially after going up the stairs 1,000 stairs in Lisbon, because you not only have stairs in your house, you have to go up the stairs to your building. So that's you have to keep in mind.
We know about stairs in the rentals in Lisbon and the hills. When the Uber drops you off and they go, oh, you just go up that hill. Sure. Now drag a bag. Hey, Nathaly, drag a bag up that hill.
Camera.
Michael has a question.
Yes, thank you for sharing all the information today. We're very rich, so I love it. I have two questions. So one is, but I want to say I've been noticing a pattern from a lot of people looking into Portugal, and there's a trend happening from areas like Vancouver, Canada, where I think it could be from the cost of living, because of the cost of living and affordability in Portugal. Also, I'm seeing a lot of trend coming from the Middle East because it's still affordable for their currency. And not for only that, we're also I've been getting a lot of interest in education and universities and programs that is happening and offered in Portugal that are very unique, affordable pricing again, cost of living, and affordable pricing for the education. I want to
Yes.
tap on your what's your thoughts on this part, and as if this can be good, how can we help those who are looking into studying what's the most popular universities or programs that's happening in Portugal, and if there's a strategy where we can help them through real estate. That's one thing.
Portugal is very popular. They've got some top universities. Of course, Coimbra is the top medical university in the world. You've got a lot of international universities that have come in as well, so they can study in English as well. There's a huge one in Cascais. There's a big one in Lisbon. There's even families that come in with kids and they want their kids to be in international schools. And I want to put it out there that everybody that sends their kid to an international school regrets it. Because, and I'll explain why, the local schools, the Portuguese schools, are very, very good, and they're very good with foreign children. So the first 6 months are the worst for the child because they have to learn everything, but the teachers are very patient. The next 6 months are the worst for the parents because the kids are talking about them and they can't understand them. So, but everyone that took their children out of international schools and put them into the local Portuguese said it's the best thing they ever did because it's the same, if not better, standard of education, but they're becoming integrated and fluent in another language much quicker. So they do have the courses across the board. They do have international universities. They do have international colleges. They also have the Portuguese standard ones. So everyone that comes in and wants to go to a normal Portuguese university, like the Coimbra University, or Braga is very popular amongst the Brazilians because they have a deal. So Braga has become lots of Brazilians. It all depends on the client. We can find them the perfect course. We can find them the perfect deal. If they're just students, now Coimbra is brilliant for student residences. Coimbra City is university city. I wouldn't invest there if you're an investor unless you want student accommodation. Otherwise, everything needs to be outside or across the river where you don't get inundated with the parties until 4, 5, 6 in the morning. So the same with Braga. There's big universities everywhere in Lisbon, Cascais, Braga, and of course, as I said, all the private schools, but we've got those options throughout the country. Portugal is actually the most English spoken country in the whole of Europe where English is not their first language because all the TV is in English with Portuguese subtitles. All the movies are in English with Portuguese subtitles, whereas in Spain and France, it's all dubbed. So a lot of the kids don't grow up listening to the actual movie as it is. So any youngsters from now, I mean, Bruno speaks perfect English. Albie, my assistant, it's so funny. Everyone thinks he's Canadian or American.
Yeah.
And then when he starts talking Portuguese, they go, your Portuguese is really good. And he goes, it should be. I am Portuguese. But it's actually the worst thing for foreigners. I go to a shop and I go, hola, como está? And they go, hi, how can I help you? So it makes it easier for foreigners to live here because the Portuguese are so accommodating. They would rather practice English than listen to you butcher their language. Whereas in France and Spain, they kind of like, you're in my country, you speak my language, or I'm not going to help you.
That's huge.
Right?
That's a big difference. Okay, I like that. Do you see parents, like if they want to send their kids to study in Portugal and probably and either graduate from there, and you're saying local versus international schools are more preferred, right? Would they?
No, they both, it works both ways, but everyone that
Okay.
sent their kid, they have the same standard of education as an international. The biggest difference is they get integrated into Portuguese much quicker if they had a local school.
Got you. Do you see that could be a strategy where when they send their kids, they would also be worth it to invest in a property while they're there instead of paying rent and housing somewhere else, and that way can be something that we can either leverage. Because I see many entrepreneurs, they get their money back for the schooling through the property, right?
Exactly.
And now they educated the kids for free.
And also,
And have an
I
asset.
always say to my clients, every country I've ever moved to, I've bought my property. I bought my first property at 22. And when I moved to Portugal, everyone's like, are you crazy? Why are you buying? You don't know the area. I'm like, if I live there for 5 years and I sell it for exactly the same price I bought it for, I've lived rent free.
Yeah.
Like the concept. So yes, if people are going to go into a country, why would you rent and put your money down a black hole anyway? You're paying someone else's mortgage. Plus, your property is going to go up in value. So the average we've had going up per year is 11%, some places even 24%. So now if you just sit on that for a few years, you're not going to get a return on your investment anywhere else at 24% within 2 years. So this is where you've got to work out property has value. And Portugal's like that little cousin, that everyone ignored. And suddenly everyone's gone, oh, wow, you grew up, you got pretty. And now it's got popular.
And I think I'm noticing a trend, Portugal. Everyone I've been meeting this year, they were saying, guess what, Michael? I was in Portugal. And I was like, seriously? When?
Yeah.
When? It's like between May and July. It's almost like everyone. And people from Middle East, people from Canada, British Columbia, people from
We
different
have an
places around the
amazing
world.
referral platform for you to send your clients.
We need to work on this. And we need to connect to that. I'll get it from Nathaly maybe. And I'm curious, this is just a thought. Would you be willing to work with me and Nathaly maybe on just an info sheet or something, information package, especially if we're targeting students who wants going there to study a program, like different schools are there and the areas around it in real estate. So that way, it's more like a specific niche where anyone who wants to send their kid in any one of those schools for those programs, there is also an opportunity to look at this inventory in this area, right?
So for those that don't know, Vanessa on my team is a school teacher. So she knows all about it.
Okay.
That's why we literally cover every aspect. What are you looking for?
Cool. So is that Vanessa on the call?
No, Vanessa's not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but you've met Vanessa. So we'll create that. I mean, whatever you guys are looking for, that's why we curate packages for our clients. Because everyone is unique. You can't go, here's one house that fits all. It definitely doesn't. Here's one area that fits all. No. I mean, if someone absolutely loves a big city and they love Lisbon, awesome. Let's help you find that right place. It's really good for young couples that want to do business, on up and coming entrepreneurs. If you want something a little bit quieter, you can even go across the river to Almada, to Seychelles, to Costa Caparica, and you catch the train across or the ferry. So we know all those different, like Oeiras is coming up now just outside of Lisbon. That's very popular. But those are the areas we can get people in before the prices get pushed through the roof and make it, really expensive to buy.
Yes. And I see some people want to retire. Especially again, I have a couple of friends, one in Alberta and someone else in California, but it's more like where it's a better weather and lower cost of living. And they just want to move there. And that trend is also happening for Portugal.
Central Portugal itself has won 8 years in a row for the best retirement destination between Europe, America, Canada, and UK for value for money and quality of life. Because it's still cheaper, it's in the countryside, it's between the big cities. So it has kind of everything, but it is for people that want to be a bit away from it all, have their own space, but still close to everything.
That's Central Portugal, right?
Yeah. But Central goes from like the coast to the Spanish border, and then but then you have we're
doing another tour in June, before June, I think, or June next year, because this year we did one in June. It was perfect. The weather was nice. I like the heat, but some people were complaining.
But it hit 40. It hit 40 degrees Celsius.
I like that.
But we'll have another tour, Michael. I think it will be good for you to see it. I mean, right now you can see the video probably. I just posted it in the chat. But once you leave
Thank you.
it and the spaces, then you get an idea like what's what, what's where. And for referrals, that's even better too, so you can understand it. And I think
Yes,
when
I love that.
at the end of June probably, or beginning of July. I don't know if it's too hot, but we can do another tour of Portugal next year.
Yeah, because
Yes, and I'll make it this time.
we want to do another one with the international next year. So we're
Yes.
Nathaly and I are figuring out the countries that we're doing.
By the way, we mentioned earlier, what about the islands like São Miguel? Well, what's your thoughts
Madeira,
on this?
Madeira and Azores, we've got agents there.
Okay.
Me personally, I lived on an island when I was in Ireland, and I'm like, I don't want to be on an island again. I quite like being attached to mainland where I can drive and I don't have to take a flight to anywhere. Some people love the island life. It's beautiful. It is so unique, so different, both sides. I haven't personally been to the Azores, but that's the kind of thing. We have connections. We can hook the clients up. It's not a problem. We have agents in Madeira also and Azores that we work with. So
thank you so much.
Depends on the client. What do you want? What might not work for me might be your perfect ideal. But that's where we can sit and do a conversation and go, what are your must-haves? What are your absolute no's? But then I always say to people, what is your everyday life and your community? Because I live in a very small Portuguese village. I'm 20 minutes from Coimbra, and the whole of Poiares is lots of expats, but my particular village is very Portuguese. But they're amazing. I mean, they're just the cutest. They really make an effort. Everyone talks to you. When I first moved to Portugal, I never told them I was working online. I never told them I couldn't intercept the courier. My neighbor figured that out. So she intercepted the courier, got my parcels for me. Then one day at 4:00, she figured out that's when I finished working. My buzz at my gate rings, and all I hear is, Leesa, post. That's the only English word she had. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And it just became her thing that the courier phones me and goes, I've left your post with your neighbor. I'm like, awesome. Or I've left your parcel. I'm like, okay. It's like, sure.
It's really great for communities as well. Like when you can build communities, connections, small groups.
And they really look out for each other. They really get to know everything, what you're doing. Sometimes it's a little creepy. I had friends come visit. I wasn't here. And they're like, oh, no, she's gone to Coimbra. She'll be back at 3. I'm like, I didn't see anybody when I left. How do they know that?
You're being watched.
But at the same time, it's out of complete goodness. They just, how are you? We're looking out for you, you know.
I'm laughing,
I kind of
yeah.
get adopted without wanting to be.
You always get this with small communities that are very intimate and they're caring for each other. So yeah.
Exactly. And that's the other thing to think of as an expat, because a lot of people go, oh, but what if we can't speak the language? I'm like, there's so many language apps now. And literally my neighbor would bring something up and point because she's found it in English. And I'm like, oh.
No, I like that. Thank you so much for sharing this. Lots of great information. And I can't wait for that once you share the video for today. That would be great. Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah, we'll share the recording after the call. I'm going to stop recording so you guys can get the